Sung Jinwoo becomes one of the most overpowered characters in Manhwa history. But before the shadows and the power, there were 5 moments where his story almost ended for good. And each one was dangerous for a completely different reason. If you are new to solo leveling, here is what you need to know. In this world, mysterious portals called gates have started appearing across the planet. Each gate leads to a dungeon filled with monsters. To fight those monsters, certain people have awakened supernatural abilities. They are called hunters. Hunters are ranked from E, the weakest, all the way up to S, the strongest. An S-rank hunter can level entire buildings. An E-rank hunter can barely survive a low-level dungeon. Sung Jinwoo is E-rank. Other hunters call him the weakest hunter of all mankind. He earns almost nothing. He gets injured on nearly every raid. And every dungeon he enters could be the last one he walks out of. This is the story of the 5 times it almost was. Number 5. At some point early in the story, Jinwoo discovers something no other hunter has. A system. A mysterious, game-like interface visible only to him. It gives him quests, tracks his stats, and lets him level up. Something that is supposed to be impossible for hunters. He has been grinding his way from the weakest rank to something far beyond it. Then the system offers him a special quest. A job change. He accepts, and is teleported into a sealed dungeon. Inside, he fights through waves of armored knights, assassins, and mages. Then he reaches the final room. Waiting for him is a knight in blood-red armor. Over 2 meters tall. 4 horns on his helmet. Glowing white eyes behind the visor. His name is Igris. Blood-red Commander Igris. And he is on a completely different level. Igris does not just fight Jinwoo. He overpowers him. Flings him across the room. Slams him into a stone thrown hard enough to crack it. At one point, Jinwoo loses his weapon and starts fighting barehanded. Igris responds by throwing his own sword aside. A knight's code. But chivalry does not make him weaker. It makes the fight more terrifying. Because now Jinwoo is in a raw hand-to-hand battle against something that outclasses him in speed, strength, and durability. Jinwoo later admitted he won by luck. One desperate strike. A dagger driven into Igris's eye at the exact right moment. If that dagger had missed by an inch, the system's chosen player would have died in his own quest dungeon. Number 4. A red gate is one of the most terrifying things in solo leveling. When a normal gate opens, hunters can enter and leave freely. But a red gate seals shut the moment you step inside. No exit. No rescue from outside. The only way out is to clear the dungeon or die trying. Jinwoo enters a gate that turns red. He and a team of hunters are transported into a frozen wasteland. The cold alone is enough to kill. And time works differently inside. 1 hour in the real world is an entire day in the red gate. They are slowly freezing. Slowly running out of options. And completely cut off. The dungeon boss is an intelligent creature named Baruka, leader of the Ice Elves. And when Jinwoo finally reaches him, Baruka does something no boss has done before. He speaks. He looks at Jinwoo and makes an offer. Hand over your teammates. Sacrifice them. And I will let you walk out of here alive. Jinwoo refuses. But here is what makes this moment so dangerous. Jinwoo himself knows he cannot beat Baruka alone. He needs his 2 strongest shadow soldiers, Igris and Iron, fighting alongside him at the same time just to bring the Ice Elf Lord down. And even after the fight is over, only 3 of the 11 hunters who entered that gate walk out alive. This is not a battle Jinwoo dominates. It is one he barely survives. While carrying the weight of everyone who did not. Number 3. This is where solo leveling stops feeling like a power fantasy and starts feeling like a horror story. An S-rank gate has opened on Jeju Island, off the southern coast of Korea. Inside, a colony of monstrous ants has been growing for years. 3 previous raids have already failed. For the 4th attempt, Korea and Japan send their strongest. 16 S-rank hunters. the most powerful strike force either nation has ever assembled. It is not enough. Deep inside the colony, the Ant Queen has created something new. Her ultimate offspring. The Ant King. From the moment he appears, everything falls apart. The Ant King reaches the Japanese hunters first. He kills 5 of them. 1 strike each. Goto Ryaji, Japan's strongest hunter, goes down in 2 hits. Then he finds Min Byung-ju, the Korean healer keeping the entire raid alive. He does not just kill him. He bites off his head. And through an ability called gluttony, he absorbs the healer's skills into his own body. Language. Healing. Everything. 8 of 16 S-rank hunters are dead within minutes. Jinwoo is not part of the official raid. He arrives on his own. And he fights the Ant King completely alone. Against a creature that just tore through the best hunters 2 countries had to offer. He wins. But for the first time since gaining the system, something flickers across his face that had almost disappeared. Doubt. Number 2. By this point, Sung Jinwoo is close to untouchable. He commands an army of shadows. His power rivals entire nations. And then 3 beings from an era before humanity decide he has to die. They are called monarchs. Ancient rulers of monstrous races. They have existed since before the gates, before the hunters, before any of it. 3 of them. Rakan the Beast Monarch, Khresha the Plague Monarch, and Silad the Frost Monarch. They invade Seoul and begin leveling the city. Their goal is simple. Force Jinwoo to come to them. It works. Jinwoo arrives and engages Rakan directly. But then the other 2 close in. 3 monarchs at the same time. Jinwoo fights hard enough to take down Khresha during the battle. But Silad activates a technique called Spiritual Body Manifestation. A massive scale attack that pushes Jinwoo to his absolute limit. And while he is focused on surviving that, Rakan moves behind him. Claws through his chest. From behind. Sung Jinwoo dies. Not almost. Not nearly. His heart stops. His body goes still. What brings him back is something that has been inside him from the very beginning. The Black Heart. A failsafe left by Ashbourne, the original Shadow Monarch. It restarts his body and transfers the full power of the Shadow Monarch to him. But the resurrection does not erase what happened. For the first and only time in the entire series, Sung Jinwoo lost a fight. And died. And at number 1. There is only one possible answer. The Double Dungeon. Chapter 1. The very beginning. This is the most dangerous moment in Sung Jinwoo's life. Not because the enemy is the strongest. But because this is the one moment where Jinwoo has absolutely nothing. No system. No shadows. No stats. No levels. Nothing. He is an E-rank hunter. The weakest in the world. He and 16 other hunters are on what should be a routine D-rank dungeon raid. But inside, they discover a hidden entrance. A second dungeon within the dungeon. They enter. The doors close behind them. Inside is a massive temple. The Kartinan Temple. There are no monsters. Just enormous stone statues. Some hold weapons. Some hold instruments. And at the far end, a giant statue sits on a throne. Smiling. Then the rules appear. 3 commandments carved into stone. The first commandment. Worship God. The giant statue's eyes begin to glow. Hunters who do not bow are vaporized instantly. Jinwoo is the first to understand. He screams at the others to get down. Some listen. Some do not. The ones who do not are gone in seconds. The second commandment. Praise God. Every person must stand in front of a statue holding an instrument. Anyone in front of an armed statue is killed. Anyone too slow is crushed underfoot by the giant. The third commandment. Prove your faith. At least one person must remain on the altar. And every time someone steps off to run for the exit, the doors shrink. Hunters are panicking. Running. Dying. The exit is closing. And Jinwoo, who has already lost the use of his leg, makes a decision. He stays on the altar. He tells the others to run. He will be the one who stays behind. The statues converge on him. A spear drives through his body. He is pinned to the altar, bleeding out, surrounded by stone figures that have already killed most of his team. Only 6 of the 17 hunters who entered that room walk out alive. Jinwoo is not one of them. He is dying on that altar. And then a message appears. A simple question. Do you wish to become a player? He says yes. Every shadow he will ever command. Every level he will ever gain. Every impossible fight he will ever win. It all starts here. In a room full of stone, with a spear through his chest and no power to speak of. If that message had never appeared, there would be no Shadow Monarch. There would be no system. There would be no story. Just a dead E-rank hunter on a stone altar. That is why the double dungeon is number 1. What makes Jinwoo's rise satisfying is not just the power. It is the fact that every bit of it was earned by surviving moments that should have killed him. A night that outclassed him. A frozen world with no escape. A creature that slaughtered the strongest hunters alive. An ambush that actually stopped his heart. And a temple of stone that should have been his grave. He was not born powerful. He was not handed anything. He survived. So which of these 5 was the most dangerous? Was it the double dungeon? The monarchs? Or is there a moment I missed? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more videos covering Korean, Japanese, and Chinese webcomics in English, subscribe to the channel. This has been East Inc.